Back at it. Day one. Day 3. Month 4. Hello and welcome to another episode of Welcome to Medins. Things have been a little bit different in the recent past with how these have gone before I was able to get quite a bit of family together regularly to do these different episodes, but in the most recent past, everyone's been pretty busy with life, and then I've been traveling quite a bit with Corey Greenwood Speaks, which has been a lot of fun. And then, just kind of the busyness and hecticness of life takes over. But today, this episode, I'm actually going to tell you guys some interesting things that have gone on in my family's life. So my family being myself, my beautiful wife, Michaela, and then our 4 kids. So recently, I was contacted by Corey again, and he asked if I could come fill in for a week. And leading up to that, after that, I prayed about my initial feeling about it was that I was supposed to go. So I brought it up to my wife, who I know initially wouldn't be super happy about it. Nor was I, because well, there's another week I'll be gone from my family. But I talked with her about it, and she said, if you feel like you're supposed to go, you're supposed to go. So let's get ready for you to go. And I got all excited about it. I'm like, okay, I know what to expect this time. I'm not so nervous about it. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So in the week leading up to it, I was getting ready to go, and a couple nights before I left, I got contacted around 11 p.m. by another worship leader who we trained up under our friend Jeff Perk, and he contacted me. And so I suppose I should quick give a timeline. By the way, a lot of this videoing is very raw. I haven't done a second take or anything like that. So we're just gonna go with the raw route. I'll give you guys a heads up. There are gonna be maybe a little bit of stumbling around my words and some actions and some thought processes that aren't gonna be necessarily fully prepared and in line. I haven't scripted any of this. So Corey asked, given that timeline, if I could leave on October 3rd and be gone through, I think it was either the 13th, get my timeline a little mixed up. It'd be a week, and so I was supposed to get back very early the following Saturday, so I'd be leaving on a Sunday morning and then coming back the following very early Saturday morning. And then Jeff asked if I could then help play drums at a church in the cities that Sunday after I got back. So it was just feeling like it was going to be a lot of go before I'd be able to kind of sit back and relax. And then leading up to me leaving for tour again, playing guitar, that whole week was just very, very busy. Every night was something going on. Like Monday night was prayer for our church. Tuesday night was an elders meeting in preparation for a conference that we're going to be having that weekend. Wednesday night was a worship night at High Point. I was playing for that. Thursday night is our church. And then, what was it? Oh, Friday and Saturday was the conference here at the church where I'm videoing for the bridge. And then at 6 a.m. the next Sunday, I'd be leaving. So essentially just 2 weeks of a lot of hecticness, and then I got asked to play drums for worship the Sunday after I got back, and it's just like, oh my goodness, So I was talking to Jeff, and I said, you know what, Jeff, I have a lot of things going on. I'm gonna be getting back from this trip, and it's just very busy. I'm gonna be gone from my family, excuse after excuse. I said, why don't you look at talking with this other drummer that I know you're conversing with. And so I, said goodnight, hung up, just sitting there with my wife. I was massaging her head. That's one of her favorite things. And all of a sudden I felt like the Lord said, Jeff asking you to do something is the same, if not greater, than a complete stranger asking you to fly across the world with him to go do a missions trip. And I told you to be open to what I was going to be having you do through people asking. And I was like, babe, it's going to sound crazy, but this is what I believe I'm hearing from the Lord, that, Jeff asking me to go do this random thing, like how I responded to when Corey first asked and how I respond this next time, I should treat what Jeff's asking me to do in the same way. And she said, I kind of feel the same. He called you at 11 p.m. and it just kind of seems a little bit odd. You should probably call him back. So I called him back, and he greeted me with, hello, I'm an old man who goes to bed early. How can I help you? Which is very much so a Jeff type joke. And I said, hey, Jeff, here's the thing. I'm sorry that I was giving you loads of excuses to why not to go. Anyway, I feel like the Lord said I should call you back and say, yes, I'm open to playing on that Sunday. Jeff said, well, you know what, let me talk to the other drummer quick, see if he and his wife are going to be doing something. They had another opportunity come up, so we'll just see if it works out. And then he texted me the next day and said, all right, we're go for Sunday. I said, okay, and I felt a peace about that. I'm like, okay, now I know I'm doing two things the Lord wants me to do. So, leave on my trip, get to Ohio, where we're going to be playing at the first set of school assemblies. And Corey does suicide prevention. I don't know if you remember that from my last video. And we had done the first school, and we were going to the second school, where then we were going to have two assemblies. And I felt like, I could ask the Lord, how many students are dealing with suicidal thoughts right now? And I felt like he told me 3. So I told Corey, because he's the leader of the whole thing, I said, hey, Corey, I asked the Lord, how many students are we going into this next school if they're dealing with suicidal thoughts? And I feel like he told me 3. And so Corey said, okay, that's always good to know. Now, that you being here playing guitar for a few simple songs, and me speaking that means something to people. So let's go at it. He said, okay, set up, did all the equipment, all that, got set up, played the 2 school assemblies, and then it came time to tear down at the end of the day. We started tearing down, and I'm, moving equipment, wrapping cords, lifting moderately heavy equipment during the show. I've been very physically involved. I was jumping, and my guitar's kind of heavy. It's a custom 24 PRS. It's got some weight to it. And jumped off the stage, went running around the auditorium, giving students high fives and playing guitar. Actually tripped down some stairs. Hope no one saw it. A few people did, but got back up on stage, and I was like, okay, let's keep going. Let's finish this out. Now at the end of the assembly, tearing down, I went to go pick something up that in the prior 2 weeks I've been doing it, and at the school before I'd lifted up a truss that we had that had lights on it, and I get partway up, and then all of a sudden I just feel my back go out, lost all ability to stand. I sat back, the truss is on top of me, I was like, don't scream. And our lead singer saw me, he's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then the rest of the guys turned around like, what's going on? I'm like, I think my back went out. I'm only 29. I'm not old. This shouldn't be a thing. It really hurts though. And I'll insert a video clip of kind of the tours, of course, so you can see stuff as I'm talking here. And it took me an hour to get off the floor after that. Like, my back hurt so bad. There was one point Hannah was trying to help me get onto my back from a sitting position, and the pain was so intense that it had gone just a little bit further, it felt as though I would have like conked out completely just from how painful it was. Pregnant women are probably going, that's nothing, let me tell you. And I won't say that compared to anything to like that, but it hurt pretty bad for me and what I'd experienced up to that point in my life. Hannah, the guys were a big help. They had to carry me out, not by like hands and legs like that, but like I had to rest my arms on them, and they helped me as I'm like kind of tiptoeing it to the vehicle. And Corey had me laughing a ton, which was super painful. Lost all core strength. Now I'm like, like wanting to bawl my eyes out because I'm in so much pain. But it's so funny everything Corey's saying. He's making fun of me for being an old man. Anyway, so here's a clip of that process as they're hauling me out to the car. It's just an agonizing pain, but they're doing a great job supporting me. So at that point now I'm going, all right, I'm on this mission for the Lord, but my back just went out. And it felt as though it wasn't just me being stupid and lifting something, because I've had years of lifting things. Well, like weightlifting, exercise is a big thing for me. So I know how to stand, I know all that. So that wasn't it. I just felt like, God, I believe I'm doing this thing you want me to do. Why in the world is this happening to me right now? Fast forward. So now I'm going through the week. Instead of standing up, playing, jumping around, I'm sitting on a stool, bent over because I need my guitar to help support my weight because my back's doing nothing for me. Between the assemblies, I'm laying on the ground, on my back, just trying to stretch, but in pain. And the band is doing everything. Our lead singer, Hannah Nicolaisen, who top 20 American Idol artist. You should definitely look her up. I'll include the link to her social media right here. Jake Fuller, amazing drummer. I'll include his link as well. Josh Patterson, great sound guy. Corey. And what was supposed to be a team of 5 people setting up, tearing down is now just them. And I'm sitting there like pain and just wishing like anything I could do anything. So I'm pushing myself, like roll up chords, pick up light things. And they're going, no, stop. My wife is on the phone going, no, baby, I don't need to do anything. Like I can't get myself to stop. Like I gotta devote myself to that. I gotta push through because I need to be here for my team and still be present in what God wanted me to do, which was this trip, because I had a clear word that he wanted me to go. So that happens all week, and as the week progresses, like I'm slowly getting my mobility back, able to walk like up and down stairs very slow, and then like slowly being able to stand straighter and straighter to like the last day I was walking to the van, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm walking the same pace I usually do. Also, I realize I'm talking super fast, but I don't have something to measure what time it is. That camera shuts off at 30 minutes, and my phone will keep going, but I like that angle. I want to have 2 different angles for this. Anyway, going through the week, slowly getting better, still in pain, not able to lift things, not able to fully contribute. But by the end of it, I felt like the Lord was saying, I want you to be humble. I want you to give up pride. And not that I did this to you, but like Job, to prove a point to Satan, I said, you could go after him. You can't kill him, but you can go after him. And Satan hit my back. And I believe God was going, I'm going to prove to Satan that you aren't going to hate me. You aren't going to curse me. You aren't going to blame this all on me. But that despite this discomfort, you still love me. I still love you. And I trusted in the Lord, and the Lord provided through my team to be there for me. And I was able to give up, realizing that I don't generally ask for help unless I need it. I don't try to push that help button unless I absolutely need it. But if it's something I can do, I'm going to do it myself. But the whole week, I had to ask for help. Can you help me up the stairs? Can you get me to the car? Can you carry my bag? Can you bring me some food, please? Thankfully, didn't have to ask anyone for bathroom assistance. Hallelujah. But I had to keep asking for help in the simplest of things and being okay with that. And And that was such a bummer at the time. But it gave me a great appreciation, one, for the little things, like being able to walk, being able to sit up, being able to sit back, being able to walk up and down stairs, as well as even just the love and the service that my team gave me during that week. So now I'm back. I've kept my family up to date. They've been praying for me. My team have been helping me out, like I've said so many times, but I'm just so grateful. And I know that thank you will never be enough to fully express my heart and the appreciation I have, team, by the way, if you're watching this. And thank you to everyone who prayed for me. Again, thank you is not enough, but just thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I got right now is just thank you. And I thank God for the grace he gave me and he gave my family while I was away. But then I finally got back home at like 2 a.m. on that Saturday, and I hung out with my family all day, and we got to go have a treat with the kiddos to celebrate me coming back, which they love, and I love that time. Now the next day, Sunday morning, leaving early to go to the Twin Cities to play drums with Jeff Burke, help the worship team out. I get to go with PJ. PJ's a phenomenal guitarist. I'll throw his link in there too. You guys know him, but still follow him on social media. And we had this awesome worship time, but leading up to that in our prayer time, Jeff in our worship team prayer circle goes, does anyone have a word or anything I want to throw in here for prayer? And I just felt like the Lord was saying to me, I realize this sounds crazy, but I felt like the Lord said to me, there's a storm raging in heaven right now. So I say, okay. Guys, I feel like the Lord is saying to me, there's a storm raging in heaven. And then all of a sudden it got confirmed by 2 of the other team members that I'm not related to at all, and I just met that day. They said, yeah, that is confirmed. I'm getting that sense as well too. Let's pray into that. So we prayed into that. Go hang out, and then we come out for worship. Have a very powerful worship session. The Lord showed up, and it was fun getting to witness him moving throughout the congregation. Worship is over. PJ, Lexi, and I pack up to head back home. And then I headed off to my in-laws for my brother-in-law's birthday, so we could celebrate him. And while we're at the birthday celebration, it's getting time to eat. This is like 4:30 in the afternoon. And one of my nieces comes upstairs and says, hey, Andrew's crying for his mommy downstairs. And I'm like, well, I'm not mommy, but I'm the one who's free right now. I'll go down there. I go down there. He's sitting, crying, crisscross applesauce, his arm wrapped in a blankie, and he's crying like, owie, owie, it really hurts. And usually with my kids, I'm like, unless your bone is broken or you're bleeding out or something, like it's not that big of a deal. You'll be okay. But this time I felt like I should probably give him a little more grace, and I don't know why. But I pick him up, I said, okay, buddy, what's wrong? Howie, and he's still holding his arm. Howie. And I set him on this table, be like, all right, let's investigate. Why is he still holding his arm? What's so Howie? He's wearing a long sleeve, so I pull up his long sleeve, and his arm is in a banana shape. And I'm going to give you all a heads up. I'm going to put that image here, and then I'll do the x-ray, and then his arm. So just to give you a heads up. X-ray, and then arm, okay? Coming right now. His arm looks broken. And I'm like, a little shock there. That's not how it's supposed to be. Check with my mother-in-law to make sure I'm not just seeing things like, hey, is this as bad as I think it is? And she's like, yes. I'm like, okay, pick him up. Babe, we gotta go right now. She's like, what's wrong? I said, Andrew broke his arm. I don't know how. He said he was on the bed or something, but we gotta go. So Andrew's, crying, holding his arm, and I'm carrying him. We get in the car, rush off to Mayo Clinic, because thankfully we were in Rochester, so Mayo wasn't that far. going to the ER. I'm carrying him. My back still hurts from the week before as I'm carrying him. He's in pain. I'm in pain. Thankfully, they brought me one of those, like a person stroller. Can't think of the word right now. I'll think about it later. And it'll totally, you guys can laugh. Anyway, that all happens, and we're in the hospital, and Andrew's getting his arm put back together, and they helped him out. They got it all in a cast. Now Andrew's all adorable. I'll put a picture of that too. Walking around a little pink cast because his favorite color is pink and blue. So all that happens. I believed I was called to do the Corey thing, and I believed I was called to do the Josiah Center thing. Both playing music, both a form of outreach and encouragement and ministry in one way, shape, or another. One either being direct at a church, or one being more indirect, but just getting to be an encouragement to students at school. Both things I felt like God placed me to, and both times I felt the Lord speak to me, and I gave a word. The word about how many students were contemplating suicide, and then the word about what was going on in heaven before we were going to start worship. And both times I'm hit with something. Goodness, it was discouraging. It was very discouraging. But I was doing what the Lord asked. And I know I could have been super discouraged and then have been like, I'm not going to do this again. I'm either not going to speak up if I feel the Lord say something to me, or next time he asks me to do something, I might just say no. Because there's a cost. But I'm not going to quit. There's so much at stake in our lives. For anyone, you don't have to believe in the Lord right now to hear and know that there's a reason for your life. You could have known the Lord your whole life and know there's a reason for your life. You could have just met the Lord and know and be hearing there's a reason for your life. There is. And I'm not giving you some Christianese answer or response about God is good and he made you for a purpose, so get into it. No, there is an actual deep reason you're here. And for me, I learned that this past weekend with those two instances, that there is a purpose. But just as much as God has a purpose, Satan wants to keep you from that purpose by discouraging you, especially if you've responded to be obedient to God and the purpose he's called you to. Because at that point, then you start questioning whether or not you're doing the right thing. I'm here to tell you, fight through the discouragement. And also, when you feel the Lord speak to you, or you respond to a call, whether it be you don't know the Lord, but you feel this deep in your heart, you got to do something. Or if you know the Lord and you felt the Lord speak to you deep in your heart, or direct word or something to go do something, right before you do it, plead the blood of Jesus over you and your family. I didn't do that with either of those instances, and admittedly, it wasn't the first thing that came to mind. But now, hindsight being 2020 and all, I do need to do that. Like, the next time I get a clear direction from the Lord and to do something, as well as a direct word from him to say something. I need to plead the blood of Jesus over me and my family so this doesn't happen again. Because the Lord will protect you, but you have to come under his authority and his protection. And that's a whole thing that one of these videos I'm sure I'll get more into depth into, where my family will be a topic we talk about. But not wanting to get too deep theologically there, what I want to do is I want to encourage you. Go into it. There are going to be discouragements that come along, but fight through it. You can. I did. It was painful. I did, and I was unable to do anything physically, but I pushed through to be able to keep playing. I played, after that, I think there were 10 or more assemblies that I still had to do from the start of the trip to the end, with having to move many times throughout each day to different assemblies. I sat on a stool and I found a way to make it happen. And I was in agony, but I played those 3 songs at the beginning of each session for Corey. And had a great time. I look back on that week, and despite the pain in my back, the literal pain in the back, or pain right over the butt, but I had a great week. Had a phenomenal time. It was so much fun. Had a lot of laughter, despite a lot of the laughter causing me great agony. A lot of laughter. Had a great time with my team. And despite the thing with Andrew, like on the upside, he looks adorable with a cast on. Like the little dude with a little cast on, super cute. But he's having to learn how to ask for help too at an early age. And he's a pretty independent little guy. You know, if he could do it by himself, he will. And he's learning there's a few things right now with a lack of one arm that he can't do by himself, so he has to ask for help. And that's humbling to me too, that my 3, almost 4-year-old is kind of going through the equivalent of what I went through. Thankfully, nothing with his back, but with his arm. And he's asking for help. Which, as a dad, both makes me proud as well as also breaks my heart seeing him in that situation where he can't do it himself, especially knowing his very daring little personality. So what more can you go through? I think it's a lot. Matter of fact, I know it's a lot. Because I know if I could do it, you could do it. I'm not some super impressive human being, but I was raised to push through. And for a lot of people who think, nothing wrong ever happens to the Medins, my back just went out. I was on the floor for a week. My 3-year-old son's arm just broke. PJ and Holly lost a baby years ago. If I remember correctly, I believe Holly was 6 or 7 months pregnant. We had to have him, and so we had to witness that. Different ones of us have dealt with anxiety, stresses at our jobs. I was fired from Sheldall over a year ago. Sarah's dealt with some crazy pregnancy issues of having to go to the hospital time after time for dehydration or this pain or that. Brianna had a cyst in her back, and she's pregnant with their first little girl. Things aren't perfect for us. It may look like it a lot, like for those who see us at church or have noticed over the years who we post on social media, you see the adorable pictures of our kids, you see the fun family photos. There's a lot of stuff that goes on before that and after that. We live for the Lord, and our lives aren't perfect, but He's our strength when our lives aren't perfect, and He celebrates right along with us when we have our victories. And He encourages us through like the neutral times, the transition, the travel periods between a challenge to a victory, and then the victory on to the next challenge. He's with us all along the way, and it makes it bearable. And it not only bearable, but makes it possible for us to thrive in those times too. And so another thing I want to let people know by the end of this episode, which is pretty soon, our lives aren't perfect. And hopefully the raw aspect of this video, the fact that I paused, and not that I paused by plan, but just like I'd either not know what to say next, or I've stumbled over my words, or I've looked this way or that. At one point I had to stop, quick pause that camera, and then press restart so it didn't shut off. Life is raw, and for those who you think it looks perfect, it's not. For us, it's not. And if you're like, oh, well, is he looking for pity? No, I'm not looking for pity. I'm just looking to be open and honest with you. Our family is a lot of fun, and we want to welcome you into it. We want you to be a part of it. Hence, again, welcome to the Medins. But I want you to know you're coming into a family that it doesn't have it all together. That things don't go 100% for us all the time. We still have struggles, like you have struggles, or like you have struggles, or you. You get a struggle, you get a struggle, you get it. But you're coming into a family that will help you through that. And we'll give you encouragements through the different episodes, and when you talk with us in person, we'll encourage you, uplift you, help give you direction where best we know to give direction, talk you through some of our stories and struggles as a means to see how you can get through something. I don't know. But I want you to know that your struggle, you'll make it through. If you want encouragement, watch these episodes. Come talk to us in person if you see us. I'm more than happy to talk to you. I'm a super social butterfly, so talking with you is like the bee's knees for me. But you got this. And there's something super significant about your life. I don't know what it is. Maybe if I meet you, I might get a word about it. I don't know. But I know there's a lot of significance, so don't quit now. Keep going, because guess what? Tomorrow is a new day, and I know it sounds cheesy, but tomorrow is a new opportunity. Chance to wake up in something fresh, restart your thinking, try something new, go after that dream or that goal, take that step, write it down, even if that's the first step it takes, and you can see it, and then be like, all right, how do I get there? And when you face a struggle, because I'll admit, for us, a little someone called Satan will try and discourage you, especially if it's what you're meant to do, because if it's what you're meant to do, it's going to change people's lives for the better. Satan doesn't want you to do that, so he's going to discourage you along the way. But don't quit. Because that means if Satan's going after you, that means you're on your way to it, the right thing. That means you're important. That means you're significant. That means you're going to make an impact that's going to not only change your life, but your families, your friends, complete strangers' lives. And you got to keep going to do it. Because guess what part of that change involves, that impact involves, is you having overcome something in the first place, to have a story to tell that gives you credibility in those people's eyes. To see, oh, they did struggle with something and made it through. Maybe I can, and I can listen to what they're saying. Though the solution may not necessarily come about the same way, you still have a way and a way of thinking to help encourage those people along that line to make it. So I want to welcome you to the Medins. I want to welcome you to encouragement. I want to welcome you to a family that loves and cares about you and will help get you there as best we can. And if you want to keep up with us, and of course here comes a shameless plug portion of the video every time. If you want to keep up with us, hear more stories, smash that subscribe button. Thank you, Ethan, for that line. Smash that subscribe button, press the little bell so you get notified. follow us on Facebook, like us, or follow us on Instagram. I'm working on increasing content on there. It's a work in progress. Again, I don't have it all together, but it's just something I'm wanting to pursue to see what happens and just help, even if it's just one person. So I look forward to getting to see you next time on Welcome to Medins, and I'm believing that my back won't go out between now and then. So I'll see you next time on Welcome to the Medins.